Thank you, everyone. And I know we have a few minutes, and we're desiring to get you out on time. Just one of the things I'd love to do, empowering you to lead this change. I want to just shout out, and I know, Joe, you'll do this, but I get the opportunity to work up close and personal now with this team, the Change Readiness team. And I just want to say, I know, Joe, you're incredibly uncomfortable right now. That's all right. I got shouted out on my birthday earlier. I know how it feels. But I want to just acknowledge the Change team. You went above and beyond with the planning of this. Joe, thank you for your investment in this team. We need it. This is a group that's had to learn us, has had to learn Northwell, our organization, as they help us lead change, drive change even better. So big shout out and thank you for this event. Thank you. So another team I want to thank, internal comms, are you here? Yeah, so one of the things internal comms has taught us is the power of a great visual. So in the fall, around September, let me also do some other shameless plugs. September 9th, we kick off David Gill, engagement survey. I got a nod from David. These are the people I actually work for now. I work for David Gill, I work for Joe McMahon. The survey, for sure. We've got so much going on in September. It's going to feel a little bit like this as it does. But one of the gifts we have as HR professionals is this is us, office door closed. Then we step out of our office. You know what I'm talking about. And you make sure the rest of the organization doesn't feel this way, right? We project calm. We project control, for sure, credibility. The other thing we understand is maturity. And one of the things I've learned is the value of not fueling a fire. To Joe's earlier points, there are going to be a lot of naysayers, and we can fuel that fire or we can help calm it, help put it out, right? Set the pace, maintain the pace. So important. So you're going to get this emailed out to you. Every time you're feeling it, just look at that visual, just for a moment, and then remember the power that you have to help calm the storm and why it's so critical. In the interest of time, we're going to get this all emailed out to you, but just want to highlight a few things. So you've heard so much today, you've learned so much today. A few folks have come up and they've said, hey, you know, I haven't had yet the privilege, the opportunity to be in a lot of the meetings and sessions, but I get it today. And that was the goal of today. We are, to use Kathy's term earlier, we've launched, right? I love that phrasing, we've launched. So we want to make sure you come away with this information. So just a reminder, this journey we've begun thinking about the people being impacted through the use of personas, right? So we've got our managers for sure, our team members, HR, and new hires. One of the things I heard today that HR found pretty sexy was fewer systems to manage and interact with. So for those who don't know, I came out of Site Life. I know the reality of having to go to one system for one thing, to another system for another thing, as many of us do. But this is something that rings true and is great for so many of us to hear, fewer systems to manage. HR-specific reports, mobile access to view and approve transactions, visibility into status, which these are just things we've all been asking for so long. So it's amazing to begin to get it. I want to pause also and say one of the things I love about how we've approached this journey, and I think we've got our Deloitte partners still with us. Yes, thank you all as well who've been along with us on the journey. So many organizations, they'll embark on a journey like this and they'll focus on the cloud aspect, the technology aspect. Let's get our systems into the cloud. Let's get our data into the cloud. We took a different approach. We said, wow, what an amazing opportunity to create a differentiated experience with the goal of winning the war on talent to deliver on our mission. We've got to look at everything holistically and in an integrated way, and technology is the enabler. And thank you, Alina, because you always stress that to us. Technology is the enabler. So just thinking about the value that each of these groups will now have in their hands. And by the way, thank you, videographer, who recorded us, and using an iPhone, by the way, pretty cool, thank you. Managing the change, so speaking again to the change readiness team, the discipline and the rigor that we now use to approach change, you're getting a little bit of insight into their process. And again, you'll get this. So process, and yes, they have a formula. If you know any of Matt Kurth's teams, there's a formula for everything, and tremendous rigor. Process, content, do we have the right messages? The channels, how are we communicating? What's the approval process needed? And then, so important, how are we measuring success? So we want to have that in your hands as a reminder of the training you participated in today. And then our role. So earlier we talked about being champions, and Joe talked about day one when we hit the ground running. Let's say this, we want to hear your voice. We want you to pull us aside if there's a major concern, for sure. But there's a healthy and constructive way to do it, and we all know the healthy and constructive way, and we all know the other way. We're not going to do the other way. We're going to do the healthy, constructive way, right? So being a change agent, actively supporting Polaris for sure, being a champion of the vision, and then obviously continuing to support, continuing to communicate. All right? And then how we support you, critical. So if you need a massage, happy to get you to the spa. But other than that, for sure, communication, critical. We've got to get this right, and the internal comms team always challenge us with that. We can do a whole lot well in the design, even in the execution, but sometimes where we lag is in the communication. If we don't get that right within ourselves, within this group, that's a big opportunity, a big gap, right? So communication for sure, the engagement aspect, how we stay connected with you, and then obviously a whole lot of training. Get ready. All right, and so thought it best. This is so good, I get to do this to you. Remember that session the other day when you, sorry. Joe has this thing of throwing me into the deep end all the time, so sometimes minutes notice I get to get up and get thrown in. So this is great to be able to hand it off to you. So why all this matters, but again, as someone with the perspective I have, and as I look out of people that I worked with over the years, 11 plus years, this is such an amazing journey for us. So don't think about the minutia, don't think about the day-to-day smaller pieces, definitely think about the bigger vision. All right, and thank you guys again. Joe?
Thank you, Maxine. Not an easy act to follow. And we are committed, as Maxine said, getting you out near 2 o'clock. So just a couple things to wrap up very quickly. I appreciate everyone's attention today. I did spend some time walking around just listening to the various groups, and already the level of actual ahas, the faces lighting up, beginning to see some of the image start to come through. It's a delight, truly, for me to have the privilege of being in the chair that I'm in the organization, to then see the team take it to a completely different level, more than you could have imagined on your own. And that's the beauty of what we are as a one HR unit. We want to continue to get your feedback on not only things like today, but then the project and the strategy itself. We've already received feedback on the venue itself, observed some of it with our own eyes. It was the right place for the right price. And so trying to stay within budget and be cognizant of budget, but realizing, and really Joe and team realizing the need to pull us together in this way, just as I said earlier, a little bit of that sort of brief timeout to just allow us to nourish ourselves with some additional information with each other. And so I think we've been able to do that today. I think you've been able to do that today, and I thank you for that. What we'd like to do now is one more polling question, and then I'm going to sort of close it down. In one word, what is an action you will take to drive forward following today? Polaris HR. Like it. Optimism, thank you very much for that. Being a champion, absolutely. We need to be champions of this. We need to continue to learn unequivocally. There's still so much we haven't yet revealed that will come. Ownership, the enabler, optimistic, training, love it. Microsite, yes, I have an update on that coming shortly. Ambassador, reinforcement, talk to my leaders, absolutely. North 1HR, recommend, share, love it. Champion and communicate. I love that communicate is at the center here. That is where we will either soar or we will fall. If we are not constantly communicating on the positive and the negative, and I'm not saying and the negative, there will be negative things along the way that we have to correct, we have to take action upon, but as long as we're communicating, doing that in a meaningful and respectful way, then absolutely the organization gets the benefit of it. So with that, I do want to close down by just also thanking the team, both the change team, the Polaris teams. I want to thank all of you who've been involved in this. You will continue to play a critical role. Hopefully today just allowed you to sort of marinate in some of that and some of that responsibility. There's more to come, more detail to follow. This falls into the other part of the job description where it says and all other functions as required. But much more to come, and hopefully we've been able to really just nourish you with some additional information to allow us to sort of take on the next leg of this race. We will do this again, and sometimes if you feel that we really need to do it sooner than we have planned in our head, let us know, and we will, of course, arrange for that to be the case. Our job will continue to be to provide you with as much support through this. And I use the word support on purpose because the design work has occurred. Now our job is to empower you to go and do what needs to be done for the rest of the organization. A lot more to come on what and when. And that's where the real project planning comes into place, and that's where our partners from Deloitte come into place. So with that, enjoy the rest of the day. We're a couple minutes past 2, and hopefully it's not too hot outside. Take care.